Hi everyone, my name is Jen. I'm here at home social distancing to bring you a chair yoga class. So before we get started in our chairs, I wanted to go over a little bit. So yoga is more than just about moving our bodies and what we do on our yoga mats. It's also about how we nourish ourselves, and as this is on common ground, we wanted to talk about a little bit about nutrition and how we can support ourselves from the inside out. So I thought I would talk a little bit today for our nutrition discussion about nutrition labels. I know they can be a little bit confusing sometimes, so I thought we would quickly go over that. I just grabbed something from my pantry here, some peanut butter with some extra goodies in it. So let's go over, I'm going to flip it to the back so we can take a look at the label. So there's different things that are important on nutrition labels for each of us. Some of us are watching sodium or cholesterol or fat or calories. So there are different things that you'll want to pay attention to on the nutrition labels. But one thing that I always like to be really mindful of, hopefully you can see this here, is the servings per container. So we want to be mindful about how big a serving is and how many servings there are per container. This, obviously, we know there's going to be a lot more than one serving in the container, but we want to know how much it is. So in this case, serving size is 2 tablespoons, and there's 16 servings in the container. That's important because sometimes containers are much smaller than this, and it can be a little bit confusing because we might think, oh, it's one serving, and so I'm just getting 160 calories, but actually there may be 2 or 3 servings, and so it's going to be more calories than what's listed here. So always making sure that we pay attention to what a serving size is according to this label. So that's going to tell you how many calories are in there, what they consider the label, whoever the makers are, consider to be a serving size. So once we figure out what a serving size is and how many are per container, then we can take a look at what the nutrients are. So our calories, our energy value, and then all containers, of course, are a little bit different. But the main things that most of us want to pay attention to are the calories. And then we can scroll here. We see total fat. And then we see broken down saturated or sat fat and trans fats. So you can see the total and then the saturated fats and the trans fats. We want to try not to get a lot of trans fats. There's also cholesterol. So for some of us, that's going to be really important. If your doctor has asked you to watch your cholesterol, or if you know that you have high cholesterol, you'll want to pay attention to on the labels how much cholesterol there is. And then sodium, that's another big one for a lot of us. Sodium is tough on our cardiovascular system, on our heart, and it's in almost everything. There's salt. If you're buying anything prepackaged, there's probably going to be salt in it, sodium. So you'll want to pay attention to how much sodium you're taking in, particularly, again, if your doctor has asked you to watch your sodium intake or if you have heart problems. So next we have the carbohydrates, total carb, and then we have our fiber. Fiber is important too. Make sure we keep things moving through our system, keep the digestive system moving. Then we've got total sugars, and you can also see there's total sugars and added sugars. So that's kind of convenient to know. So total sugar would include the natural sugar. So especially if there's things like fruit in it, there's going to be natural sugar and fruit. And then there's added sugars. So we want to try to get as little added sugar as we can. Some natural sugar is okay, but watching your sugar content is always important, particularly if your doctor has requested that you watch that. Then we have the total protein. Protein is important. That's our food for our muscles, and some of us need higher protein amounts per day. Again, follow your doctor's recommendations. At the bottom, you can see we have vitamins. You can see calcium, vitamins and minerals, calcium, iron, potassium listed here. And that's listed in a percentage. So that's a daily value amount. And you can also see that here next to the other things we have the amount of grams, and then we have the percentage value. So percentage values are sometimes a little bit convenient to watch because it gives us kind of like a quick view of what's happening in this product. So the most percentage in this one is fat. So this is a higher fat product. I know that by looking at the percentage values, right? But keeping in mind that the daily percentage values, that's kind of generic. It's based on just the average person. So your daily values may be slightly different than what's listed on the label. Always follow your doctor's recommendations on that. So that was a quick overview of a nutrition label. Hopefully that was helpful to you. If anyone has any questions, drop it in the comment and we can go over it a little bit more. I'll be happy to answer any questions that you have. So with that said, with our nutrition component complete, I'm going to put my little snack away and let's get started with some movement, with some yoga. So I'm going to slide back into my chair. And by the way, you'll notice too, I'm using a chair that does not have arms. That's going to be most convenient for our chair practice if you have a chair available that doesn't have arms, and hopefully one that doesn't have wheels. That way you're not going to move around and it's going to be a lot safer. If you're on like a hardwood floor or a tile flooring that's a little bit more slippy with the chair, then you might try to bring a yoga mat, a rug, something, even a towel underneath the chair just to help hold it in place so it's not going to move around on you as we're moving in our chairs. So once you're set up in your chair, we're going to start with a little bit of seated centering. So if you're like me and you have short legs, you might scooch up a little bit in your chair so that the soles of the feet can be touching the mat. The shoulders are over the hips. Ears are over the shoulders. We're sitting up nice and tall, using the strength of our own bodies to sit tall. We're not leaning back on the chair. The hands can rest on the lap, the thighs. They can be down by your sides, whatever feels comfortable for you. If the hands are resting down, they could be palms down or palms up, whatever feels good today. So just getting yourself into a comfortable position, thinking about sitting up tall, lifting up out of the lower spine. If you like, you can roll those shoulders up, back and down, just thinking about softening the shoulders down away from my ears. Then we're going to start to close the eyes, bringing that awareness just a little bit more inward. So you might start here just by noticing how it feels to be seated here in your chair. Feel the sensation of the soles of the feet on the mat or floor beneath you. Feel the sensation of your seat on the chair beneath you. Notice how it feels to sit tall, allowing all the muscles of the abdomen to relax and release. Allowing the arms to feel heavy so that the shoulders are moving away from the ears. All the muscles of the face are relaxing, so there's a bit of space between the teeth as the jaw relaxes. All the muscles around the eyes and the forehead are starting to smooth out. Taking your awareness into your body, noticing how it feels to be seated here, how it feels to be you in your body in this moment. Starting to notice the breath now, without changing it or trying to shape it, just starting to notice how your breath is moving. Noticing if it's slow or fast. Noticing if it's deep or shallow. Noticing the quality. How does it feel for you? We're going to look and see if we can deepen that breath by inviting just a little bit more air in as you inhale. On the exhale, looking to empty the lungs a little bit more fully. Deep breaths into the nose. Full exhales out the nose. We'll take 2 or 3 more breaths here, trusting our bodies to take in the right amount of air that we need. Now we're going to add a little movement to that breath. You can have your eyes closed if they're closed, or if you'd like, you can start to blink them open. On the next inhale, we're going to start to lift the chest up and the gaze could come up. This is our seated cow. On the exhale, we'll round our back into our seated cat pose so the chin will start to tuck into the chest. Inhale, we lift the chest to lift the gaze. Exhale, round the back, tuck the chin. Let's do about 3 more at your own pace so you can move with your own breath. Just starting to acknowledge how it feels to move with your breath today. Releasing tension around the neck, the shoulders, the spine. At the bottom of your next exhale, whenever that happens, we're going to meet in our neutral seat, thinking about sitting up nice and tall, stacking the shoulders over the hips. On the next inhale, we're going to bring the arms out to our sides and up overhead. On the exhale, we'll release arms back down by our sides with control. Try to move them as slow as the breath is moving, and moving the breath as slow as your arms are moving. Inhale, moving up, slow, long breath. Exhale, releasing down, slow, long exhale. Let's do 3 more like that. Inhale, around and up. Exhale, around and down. 2 more. Inhale, around and up. Exhale, around and down. 1 more. Inhale, around and up. This time we're going to pause at the top. Think about reaching up through the fingers, but notice if the shoulders are bunching up and see if you can soften the shoulders down. Sitting up really tall, light engagement of the core, pressing both feet into the mat. We're here for 1 more breath. Feel the strength of your body. And on the exhale, we'll release arms all the way back down with control. Nice job. We're going to allow the hands to rest on the lap. On the inhale, we'll sit really tall. See if you can lengthen up through the spine. On the exhale, we're going to take a forward fold. So the chin is going to come out as the chest comes forward. The gaze will shift down to the mat as you're ready, or down to the floor. You can keep your hands in your lap right where they are, or if you have a deeper fold calling to you, you can slide your hands down and you might be able to find your ankle or your lower leg. If it feels appropriate, you could even bring your hands onto the floor between your feet. We're going to see if we can allow the head to hang a bit heavy if that's safe on your neck. You can take a few yes and no movements with the head, allowing the muscles of the neck to fully relax and release. We're stretching through our lower back, our glutes, our hips. Let's take 1 more breath here. Then when you're ready, we're going to come on out. So you can bring your hands back up to the thighs, and we're going to squeeze the abdominals in on the way up to help support the spine. Once you're all the way up, soften those shoulders down away from the ears. On the inhale, we'll circle arms around and up, reach up. On the exhale, we'll float the arms back down, but as the arms come down, we're going to take either this side, or you can slide your hands to the back of the chair. I'm going to shift so that you can see what I'm doing here. So again, hands can be at the side, the back, or maybe even you can reach the back of the seat. On the next inhale, we're gonna work on puffing up the chest. Think about lifting the heart up toward the ceiling, so you may feel a bigger stretch through the arms. You can squeeze the shoulder blades together a little bit if that feels okay for you. Stretching out the front of the body here. One more breath. Then on the exhale, we're gonna release all the way back to our neutral seat. Nice job. Sitting up nice and tall, looking to see if you can notice if your back is starting to round. A lot of us do this rounded back movement as we start to relax, but we're going to try to sit up out of that, sitting up nice and tall so that the top of the head is in line with our seat. Shoulders are over the hips. Once you've got that, we're going to take a little twist. So we'll bring the left hand onto the right knee. The right hand could stay on the right thigh. It could take the side of the chair, or you might be able to find the back of the chair somewhere. Make sure the shoulders aren't bunching up to the ears, they're softening down. We're gonna take the gaze forward over that left shoulder, stretching the neck here. Then on the exhale, we're gonna shift the gaze all the way back behind us, moving slowly and gently with your neck here. Make modifications as you need. Take another inhale to sit up a little bit taller, looking to see if you can lengthen through the spine a little bit more. Then on the exhale, if it's appropriate, you could look for a little bit more depth in your twist. On the next exhale, we're going to release and unwind all the way back to center. Check in with your spine. Make sure you're sitting tall. We're going to move to the other side. So right hand comes to left knee. The left hand could rest on the thigh, the side of the chair, or you could find the back of the chair somewhere. Make sure the shoulders are softening down away from the ears. They're not bunching up. We'll start by taking the gaze over the front right shoulder, acknowledging how this feels, scanning the whole body. Then as you're ready, we're going to start to shift the gaze back behind us. Make sure you're taking care of your neck. Make modifications as you need. Shoulders are releasing down away from the ears. We're sitting tall. If it's available to you, you could work on deepening your twist, taking the gaze a little further back, but take care of yourself. Nice job. On the next exhale, we're going to release, unwind, come all the way back to center. Check in with your back. Notice if you're rounding. We're going to make sure we're sitting up and nice and tall. This time we're going to take a side bend. So left arm comes out, palm is facing away. On the inhale, we're going to circle the arm around and up. Pause at the top, reaching from fingertips all the way to the hips. So feel the stretch all the way through the side body if you can. Then on the exhale, we're going to take the arm over the ear. You could allow the right hand to rest on the knee, or it could take the side of the chair, or you could reach fingertips down to the mat. Choose the variation that works best for you. Make sure that both sitting bones are planted on your chair. If you feel that you're lifting off the chair, then come out a little bit. We'll take 2 more breaths here. Maybe see if you can press that left shoulder a little further back. Then on the exhale, we're going to release all the way back to center. Nice job. You might allow the hands to rest on the lap again. Soften shoulders down away. We're going to take 2 breaths here. Just acknowledging what you feel through the side body. It should feel a little bit different from one side to the other. Make sure you're sitting tall. Shoulders aren't bunching up to the ears. This time the right arm is going to come out. Palm is facing away. On the inhale, we'll circle arm around and up. Pause at the top. Reach through the fingertips, looking for a big stretch from your hip all the way up to the fingers if you can find that. Notice what it feels like to be here with the sitting bones planted. We're going to make sure we stay planted in the chair as we bring the arm over the ear to come into our side bend. But you want to be aware if the hip is lifting off, then you come out so both hips are planted on the chair and we don't feel as though we're going to fall out. The left hand can rest on the thigh, or it can take the side of the chair, or you can energetically reach fingertips down to the mat, whatever is appropriate for you today. We're here for 2 more breaths. Make modifications if you need. Beautiful. On the next exhale, we're going to release all the way back to center. You can allow your hands to rest on your lap. We're going to do 3 more of our cat-cows. On the inhale, lift the chest, lift the heart, soften the shoulders. On the exhale, round the back and tuck the chin. 2 more at your own pace. Just noticing how it feels to move the spine. Noticing if it feels a little different this time around. When you're complete with your 2, we'll meet in our neutral seat, shoulders softening away from the ears, sitting nice and tall. We're going to get into the legs a little bit here, so we'll start by stretching that right leg out. And I'm going to scooch up into out of my chair a little bit so I can allow the leg to extend. But you want to make sure you stay safe here. Make sure you keep enough of your seat in the chair that it feels safe and that you don't feel like you're going to tip out. That's the most important piece. Kicking out through the heel if it's available. You can flex your toes towards the face, noticing what you feel along that right leg. Scanning through the front of the leg, the back of the leg, both sides of the leg. You can stay lifted here, or if you'd like, you can work on a little forward fold. But again, make sure you make it safe for yourself. If you start to fold forward and it feels like you're going to tip out of your chair, you want to come back. You want to make it safe. That's the most important part of our practice. If we start to get a little fearful, then our heart rate is going to come up and our muscles are going to clench and tighten. So we don't want to do that. On the next exhale, we're going to come on back up to that neutral seat, and we're just going to switch up the legs. So right foot plants, left foot extends. Make any modifications you need. You can have a bigger, a little bend in the knee. The toes could be flexed towards the face or they could be pointed away. Dial it in to meet you where you're at today. This is a pretty big stretch on the leg, so make it work for you. We're going to start sitting tall, scanning through the leg. Notice, how does it feel to be here? Scan the front of the leg, the back of the leg, both sides, the inner and outer thigh. Really acknowledging yourself. You can stay here, lifted tall, or if you did so on the other side and you want to check it out on this side, you can try that forward fold. But remember, the most important thing here is that we're keeping it safe and honoring our bodies. Notice if there's been any changes to the breath. How is it sped up? That might mean that you're getting a little anxious. See if you can slow it down. Nice job. On the next exhale, let's go ahead and come back up. We're going to slide that left foot back to find our neutral seat. We'll move through a few sun salutes here. So on the next inhale, we're going to circle arms around and up. But as the arms circle up, make sure the shoulders aren't bunching up. Release them down. On the next exhale, we'll bend the elbows. So we're going to take the arms out wide, kind of like cactus or goalpost arms. So notice, though, if your shoulders are bunching up, see if you can drop them down, but keep the elbows a little bit high. Then we're going to work on squeezing the shoulder blades together and lifting the chest, taking a little bit of a back bend, chest opening. We'll soften back down, sit up nice and tall, lift the top of the head up. On the next exhale, we'll pull the belly in as we lean forward. So I'm going to turn sideways so you can see my back is in one straight line. I'm not rounding here. Lift up through the chest. On the next exhale, the hands will plant onto the thighs or knees, and we're going to take our forward fold. Any variation, you could keep your hands on your lap, or if you like, you can slide them down a little bit further. On the next inhale, if you've slid the hands down, we're going to slide the hands back up, come up about halfway, reach the chest forward, find that flat back. On the next exhale, we're going to fold again, any amount. On the inhale, we're going to come all the way back up. Arms can circle around and up. Exhale, hands come into the heart. We're going to do that a few more times a little bit faster now. So on the inhale, circle arms around and up. Exhale, bend the elbows. Make sure the shoulders aren't bunching up. On the next inhale, we'll lift the heart up, squeeze the shoulders. Exhale, think about sitting up nice and tall. On the inhale breath, we're going to take the belly, or to take the chest forward, so we're squeeze the belly in. And on the exhale, hands plant, and we fold forward any amount. Make sure you're taking care of yourself. On the inhale, we're going to come up about halfway, looking for a little bit more extension through the spine. Reach the top of the head away. Exhale, we fold a little deeper. Inhale, we'll circle arms around and up, coming all the way back up. Exhale, hands into the heart. Nice job. Let's do one more like that. Inhale, circle around and up, reach up. Exhale, bend the elbows. Inhale, lift the chest, squeeze the shoulder blades. Exhale, come back to neutral. Inhale, come forward halfway, squeeze the belly in. Exhale, hands come down and we fold. Inhale, we'll rise about halfway. Think about reaching the chest forward. Exhale, we fold and release. Inhale, coming all the way up, arms overhead. Exhale, hands to the heart. Nice job. We're going to hold here for a few breaths. If it's available, you can press your hands together. Feeling the strength of your arms. If your arms are tired, rest them down or take a break. If you like, you can close the eyes and just take your awareness through your body, checking in to see how you feel today. One more breath here. Beautiful. On the next exhale, we'll blink the eyes open. If they've closed, we're going to allow the hands to come down to the lap. We'll take 3 breaths here. See if you can allow the arms to be really heavy here. Allow the abdomen to relax. Nice job. If the palms are facing up, we're going to place them down onto our lap. We're going to get into the hip joints a little bit more here. So start by sitting tall. We're going to see if we can bring this right knee into the chest, any amount. And you could use your hands behind your thigh. You could interlace hands in front of your shin, or you can just lift the leg up without using your arms at all. So as we lift the leg up, we get a little stretch through the back of the thigh, the glute, even the lower back. If your hands are interlaced in front of your leg, you might take your hands around the thigh, and we're just going to see if we can make a few circles here with the knee. So your circles may be big or smaller than mine. That's okay. You just do you today. Take care of yourself. Now when you're ready, we're going to work on stepping this right foot all the way out to the right. I'm going to scooch over to make sure I stay in frame here. So if you can't see, the sole of my foot is planted on the mat. My right knee is in line with my right hip. Yours may not be. You may be taking a smaller stance like this. That's okay. Make sure you're taking care of your hips. So make it work for you. Take modifications if you need. Bring the belly in to help support the spine. Shoulders are over hips. So you might even see if you can press that left shoulder back a little bit. If that's not available to you, skip it. We're sitting up nice and tall. You can keep your hands resting down. If the arms are tired, that's a great option. You could choose to bring the hands into the heart, or if you'd like, you can float the arms out, reaching through the fingers. Make sure those shoulders aren't bunching up. They're soft away from the ears. If you want to work the legs a little bit more, you'll press down through both feet and feel as though you're standing on your 2 feet. Feel the strength of your legs. They're holding you here. Pull the belly in to support the spine. If you'd like, you can shift the gaze over the right fingertips for a stretch on the neck. We're here for 2 more breaths. Rest out if you need. And on the exhale, we're going to release. You can allow those hands to float down. And we're going to step that right foot all the way back into center. Let's do the other side. So this time we're going to bring the left knee in any amount. Remember, you can do hands free. You could hold on around the front of the shin, around the back of the thigh, whatever works for you. See if you can stay seated up tall. So notice if the back is rounded a lot. See if you can come out of that. Shoulders are soft away from the ears, taking a moment to acknowledge what you feel and where you feel it. If you did so on the other side and it's available on this side, you can start to work on circling the knee. Remember, you can go with hands on the thigh to assist, one or both hands, or you could do hands free. Whatever works for you today is good. Exploring that hip joint, checking it out. Nice job. When you're ready, we're going to step that left foot out to the left. Again, I'm going to scooch over to make sure I stay in frame, but you can be right where you are. So dial this in to meet you where you're at today. The feet may be closer together, or you might be stepping the foot out a little wider. If the feet are wider apart, it gives us a bigger stretch along the inner thigh. Press down through the feet, sit up nice and tall. You can have your hands at your heart, or you can start to stretch them out. You can keep them resting down if they're tired. Take care of yourself here. Sitting up nice and tall, maybe even looking to see if we can take that right shoulder back a little bit so that the shoulders are stacked over the hips. If you want to work your legs, you'll be pressing down through the feet so much so that you feel that you're standing on your feet. Pull the belly in. If you'd like, you can take your gaze over the left fingertips. 2 more breaths here. Beautiful. On the next exhale, let's soften the arms down, and we're going to step that left foot back into center. Let's take another forward fold, bring the heart rate down a little bit after that. So we're going to step the feet out a little bit wider. Again, you choose the distance between your feet that's available to you and supportive to you. Don't force yourself into anything that you're not ready for. So the toes are going to be pointed out a little bit. The heels are in. We're going to take a moment to sit tall. Make sure the shoulders aren't bunching up. And as we exhale, we're going to fold forward. Try to come in with a flat back if you can. If that doesn't feel good, allow the back to round. That's okay. Hands could stay resting on the knees or thighs, or you could slide your elbows onto your thighs. Take a moment to check this out and see how it feels. You can hold here. This may be your pose. If you want a deeper pose, you could slide the hands down the shins, down the lower legs, or you may even be able to bring your hands down to the mat, or you could have something under your hands if you have that available. See if you can allow the head to hang a bit heavy here for a moment, stretching out the whole spine. Shoulders are soft away from the ears. We'll take 2 more breaths here. Nice job. When you're ready to come out, we're going to bring the hands back to the knees or thighs if they've come somewhere else. Squeeze the belly on the way up to help support your spine. Then we'll step the feet back into center. Nice job. This time we're going to work on a different hip stretch. So we're going to see if we can step that right foot a little bit more into center, and you can work on crossing the left knee over the right. If this isn't available to you, or if you're getting any pain in your joints, or it just doesn't feel good to be here, you can choose to cross at the ankles. This is a great place to be. Either variation is good. So make sure you're taking care of yourself. Shoulders over the hips here, sitting up nice and tall. We're going to take a little bit of an arm bind here if it's available to you. Again, everything we do here is optional, so you can just stick with the legs today if that's what's working for you. If you want to join me for the arm bind, we're going to reach the arms out in front of us, and we're going to cross right arm under the left, crossing at the elbows, and we're just going to wrap ourselves up in a big hug. So the hands can rest on opposite shoulders. And as the hands are resting there, it's a good time to check in and notice, are your shoulders bunching up? And is there anything that you can do to allow them to rest down and away? Sit tall and see if you can find a sense of ease through the shoulders. Notice the breath here. I'm going to give you some options. So this is a good place. It's a perfect place to be if this is where you're at today. If you would like to try another variation, you can look and see if you can bring the backs of the hands together. So the forearms and elbows come up, lifting up a little bit. If this isn't available to you, you'll bring the hands back to the shoulders, or if it doesn't feel good, if you get pain, hands come back to the shoulders. If you're here and you want to try something else, I'm just going to give this out for an option. You might be able to bring the palms to meet. That's pretty pretzel-y. So if that's not for you today, then you'll come back to one of the other positions. There's no right way to be here. We're just taking care of ourselves. We'll sit up nice and tall. The one other option that we have, if you'd like to take it, is to practice a little bit of a forward fold. So the chest can come forward. If you don't want to do that, you'll stay lifted. And we're just going to hold here for about 2 or 3 breaths. If you folded forward, we're going to come on back up to the center. We're going to unwrap those arms, uncross the legs. Nice job. Let's bring those hands back behind us. So once again, I'll turn so you can see what's happening here. Once again, your hands can take the side of the chair, the back of the chair, whatever you can reach. And it depends on what kind of chair you have too, right? But just get your hands behind you somewhere if that's available. Think about lifting up through the chest. Shoulders are soft away from the ears. Look and see if you can squeeze the shoulder blades together a little bit. Gaze may be lifted or straight in front of you. Take care of your neck. Let's do one more breath here. Then on the exhale, we're going to release to look for that neutral spine again. And we're going to move into the other side. So I'm going to turn my chair. This time it's the left foot that comes a little more into the center, crossing right knee over left, or crossing at the ankle. There's not one position that's better than the other. You do what you need to do to take care of yourself. If you want to skip this, you can skip it. Shoulders are over the hips. We're sitting up nice and tall. You can stay with just focusing on the legs today and just do that. If you did the arm bind on the other side and you want to check it out on this side just to see how it would feel, we'll bring the arms out. This time it's the left arm that's going to cross under the right, and we'll take opposite shoulders with the hands, resting hands on the shoulders. Feel the warmth of your hands, the warmth of the palms. Allow the shoulders to rest down and away. So we're getting a light opening on the back body. It may feel not light for you, but just check out and see what you can feel through the shoulders, the upper back here. Looking to see if we can find a sense of ease. So you can keep your hands on your shoulders, or if you did so on the other side and you want to check it out on this side, you can slide the backs of the hands together. So remember, if the hands are coming together, the elbows are going to lift up and away a little bit like this. You can keep the backs of the hands together. If that's not right, take the shoulders again. If you have the backs of the hands together and you want to try it on this side, then you can slide the palms together to meet. But that's pretty pretzel-y, so if that's not working for you, take one of the other variations. Do what's right for you today. And see if you can find a sense of ease. You can stay lifted, or if you want to try the forward fold, you could check that out. We're just going to hold here for a couple more breaths. Taking a moment to take your awareness into your body and just acknowledge yourself. On the next exhale, or whenever you're ready to release, we're going to come all the way back up. We'll release the arms, release the legs. One more time, we're going to take the hands back behind us, so hands can take the sides, the back of the chair, whatever you can reach, whatever feels comfortable. On the inhale, we're going to lift the chest. The gaze could lift a little bit. Shoulders are down away from the ears, squeezing those shoulder blades together, lifting the chest, feeling that big stretch all the way through the front of the body. If you'd like to deepen a little bit here, you could take the chest forward. And on the next exhale, we'll release all the way back to our neutral seat. We've got a little bit more time left, so I'm going to give you the option to stand today if that's available to you. If not, you can do everything that we're going to do standing right here seated from a chair. But if you'd like to stand up, if you'd like to have that today, I'll invite you to stand up. And if you're standing, come along behind the chair. That way you can use the chair for a little bit of support. So we're going to start by finding our Tadasana pose. I'm going to slide my chair away just a little bit so you can see me here. So we're standing up nice and tall. You can have one or both hands on the chair to start. So checking in to see if we can get shoulders over the hips and hips over the ankles. Make any little adjustments here to see if you can find that. Toes are in front of the heels, so toes and heels aligned. Sometimes we bring the feet out or in. See if you can line the feet up kind of like number 11s on the mat. Then we're going to press down through all four corners of the feet to see if we can stand up a little bit taller. Notice if the shoulders are bunching up and see if you can soften them down. Light engagement of the core to help support our spine. Both legs are actively working to hold us upright. The gaze is in front of you on a point that's not moving. That's going to help with our balance, because even standing here, we're working on balance. If it's available to you, you could take one hand off the chair. And then if that feels safe, if it feels okay, you can take both hands off the chair. Press down through both feet. Feel the strength of your two legs. You can keep eyes open, focused on one point that's not moving. Or if you want to challenge yourself a little bit today, you can try closing the eyes. If that doesn't feel safe, modify, hold onto the chair, open the eyes up. Take your awareness onto your feet and just feel all four corners of the feet rooting down. Notice if you feel pressure on one part of the foot more than the other. That's an indicator that you're leaning weight around. See what you can do to balance weight out, and that may mean shifting around a little bit on the feet. Take your awareness onto the legs. Feel how strong they are to hold you here. Take your awareness onto your abdomen. Notice a light engagement to help support the spine, to help support your standing posture. The arms are long, shoulders soft away from the ears. The jaw is releasing. We'll take one more breath here. And then when you're ready, if you've closed the eyes, let's start to blink them open. You can take the hands back to the chair if you choose. Nice job. We're going to work on just a little bit of balance today. So again, I'm going to move my chair so that you can see me, but you're welcome to stay where you're at, move around as you need or as needed to support you. So if you're in a chair, I'll show you this modification as well. If you're standing, we're going to lean a little bit more weight or shift a little bit more weight onto that right leg, and you can have the chair in front of me. I just have mine beside me so you can see me. So have your hands on the chair if you choose. We're just going to start by pressing more weight onto the left leg. See if you can lift the right heel up off the mat. So really engaging through the core. The right leg is really strong here. The left leg is really strong. The right knee is bent. If you're in the chair, you can do this by shifting your weight, and you might be able to bring the heel off the mat a little bit, and the toes are touching, right? So you're either there or you're here. Now, if you're standing, or actually if you're seated, if it feels okay to have the heel lifted and you want to try something a little bit more challenging, you can work on lifting the leg up. So if you're standing, the knee will lift up to hips height, or however high you can get it today. Hold onto the chair as much or as little as you need. If you're seated, you can lift the knee up, or you can try extending the leg out. So you've got a couple of options from seated. Nice job. If you're still with me, we're gonna hold for one more breath. Then on the exhale, let's release. So bringing both feet back down. Now, whatever variation you did on that other side, whether you were standing or seated, we're just gonna do the same thing, opposite side. So if you're standing, you're gonna shift weight onto the opposite leg and play with lifting the heel to start. So my toes are on the mat. Remember, if you're seated, you do the same thing. You just start to lift one of the heels and squeeze the belly. Gaze is on one fixed point. You can hold here for as long as you like, just playing with balance. Feel that standing leg really working really strong. If it's available to you and you want to try it, you can work on picking the foot all the way up off the ground so the knee lifts maybe to hips height, or if you're in your chair, the leg is lifting up off the floor, or maybe you're even kicking it out. That's up to you. We're just gonna hold for about 2 more breaths. Whatever variation you're in today is what's good for you, right? On the exhale, let's go ahead and release. So we're gonna bring both feet back on down to the mat. Let's take another round of forward fold. So if you're in your chair, we've done that before, you know how to do it. You can bring your hands into your lap and fold. If you're standing, we can do a standing down dog variation. So you can bring the hands onto the back of the chair, step or walk your feet back behind you. Once your feet are back behind you, you can work on pressing the chest down. And I don't want to move too far away back out of frame, but you can allow your arms to extend out here if that's okay. Nice job. And then you can press the chest down toward the mat. So this is a pretty big stretch along the backs of the legs, the chest, the arms, the shoulders. On the next exhale, if you're seated, you'll come on back up. If you're standing, you're going to walk the feet back up to find our neutral stance. Let's take a moment in our Tadasana once again. So standing or sitting, nice and tall. So shoulders are over the hips. If we're standing, hips are over the ankles, pressing down through both feet. The hands can be on the chair, or if you want to try it, you could float the hands off the chair. Make sure the shoulders aren't bunching up to the ears and the breath is still flowing, it's still moving. Nice job. On the next exhale, let's bring the hands back to the chair, and we're going to make our way back to a seat if you're standing. If you're seated, you beat us there. Welcome back. So once you're here, we're going to rest the hips onto the mat, thinking about bringing the shoulders over the hips, ears over the shoulders, practicing our good posture here. We're going to do a few shoulder rolls, so you can just roll the shoulders up, back, and down. Take your awareness into your shoulders. Check it out. See how it feels today to move the shoulders around. This is an area where we all tend to store a lot of junk, stress, tension. So by finding a little bit of movement here, sometimes we can help to release some of that junk. Nice job. The next time the shoulders are coming back, we're going to think about softening them down away from the ears. Big breath in and out. This time on the inhale, we're going to open arms out nice and wide. Take a big stretch, lift the chest, lift the heart. The gaze can go up if you like. On the exhale, we're going to wrap ourselves up in a big hug. Give yourself a nice hug here. Wrap your arms around your body. Feel the warmth of your own hug, your own hands. Send yourself some love and comfort here. Thank yourself for taking care of you. On the next inhale, we're going to open arms out wide. And once again, make sure the shoulders aren't bunching up. On the next exhale, we're going to wrap ourselves up in a hug. See if you can bring the opposite arm on top, or the one that feels a little bit different, feeling the warmth of your own arms, sitting up nice and tall. On the exhale, let's go ahead and release. So we're going to rest hands down onto the mat, or onto our lap, sorry. And we're going to try extending both legs out long. So I scooched forward in my chair in order to make that happen so my legs can straighten out. Modify for yourself. You can have a bend in the knees, make it safe, make sure enough of your seat is in the chair so that it's safe. We don't want to tip out of the chair, that's important. You can flex the toes towards the face, or you might take a moment to flex and point the toes a few times, or even circling the ankle, circling the toes like you're making O's with your toes. You could move in same direction, or the toes could move in opposite directions. If you're making circles, make sure you make circles in both directions for balance in the body. Nice job. When you're ready, we're going to work on flexing those toes towards the face, so getting a bigger stretch on both legs. Sit nice and tall as you inhale. Make sure the shoulders aren't bunching up. On the exhale, if you choose, you can fold a little bit. But again, we want to make it safe, so make sure enough of your seat is in the chair so that it feels safe. If you feel like you're going to tip out or fall out of your chair, you want to come right back up, or you can bend the knees and bring the soles of the feet onto the mat. That's okay. Scan the body from all the way from the top of the head down the spine and down the backs of the legs, all the way through the feet, and see what it feels like to be here in this shape. Nice job. On the next exhale, if you're still with me, let's go ahead and make our way out. So we're going to come back to the neutral seat, and you can slide your feet back so that the soles of the feet are on the mat again. This time we're going to work on stepping the feet out a little bit wider. And we did a forward fold with the knees bent. This time we're going to try to straighten the legs out. So you might try just the right leg to start. Straighten the right leg, keep the left knee bent. See if you can sit up nice and tall. And notice what you feel around the inner thigh, the outer thigh, really becoming aware. I know that's breaking up a little bit, but we're just going with it. All right, when you're ready, we're going to switch up the legs. So we'll slide the right sole of the foot onto the mat or onto the floor, and we'll extend the left leg out so it straightens out. Any amount is okay today. It doesn't have to be all the way straight. You can have a bend in the knee. That's okay. Do what you need to do to take care of yourself. Scan that left leg and notice how it feels to be here. Nice job. We're going to slide the sole of the foot back onto the mat so both soles of the feet are on the mat. Take a breath or two here. Then we're going to try putting both legs together. So see if you can extend both legs out long. So the legs are extended. It's similar to the variation, the pose that we just did, but the legs are a little further apart. So it's giving us a different stretch through the thighs and the hips here. Think about sitting up nice and tall. Make sure enough of your seat is in the chair that it feels safe. And then you choose. You can stay lifted, or you can try a little bit of a fold, but just be mindful. I know for me, I can't fold quite as deep here. Otherwise, it's going to start to get unsafe and I'm going to feel like I'm going to tip out of the chair. Keep that breath flowing. Let's do one more breath here. Then on the exhale, we're going to come on back up if you folded and start to bend the knees so soles of the feet come back on to the floor. We'll step the feet back together. And we're going to go ahead and rest the back all the way onto the chair. That was good work today. Let's start to find a little bit of a rest and relaxation. So we're going to allow the back to rest on the back of the chair. See if you can find a little bit of ease, a little bit of comfort. Options for hands. Hands can be on the thighs. They can be turned to face up, or they can be by your sides. The legs can be bent with the soles of the feet on the mat. You can extend the legs out a little bit if that would feel good. Make sure the shoulders are softening away from the ears. The gaze could stay lifted with the chin up, or you could rest the chin all the way down to the chest. Think about allowing the arms and legs to be really heavy. Feel the abdomen gently moving with the breath. You can allow the eyes to close. So the entire body is resting and relaxing here. We're at that point in class where we're all done with the work. The only thing left to do is just to be here in this moment. Scan your body. Take your awareness through your feet, your calves, your thighs, your glutes, your abdomen, your chest, acknowledging what sensation you have here, acknowledging how it feels to be in your body today, knowing that every day is different, and that's okay. Every moment is unique sometimes, with a breath, with sensation. See if you can acknowledge your breath. Acknowledge your body. Acknowledge yourself. Slowly start to blink eyes open, bringing awareness back to the room, back to our space. If you like, you can find a little bit of movement in your fingers or your hands. On the next inhale, if you choose, you could stretch your arms up, taking a big stretch from fingers to toes. Sorry about my pause. On the exhale, let's come all the way back up to our neutral seat. We'll draw the hands into the heart. We'll take 3 more big breaths in together. Big inhale breath into the nose. Full exhale out the nose. 2 more big breath in through the nose. Full exhale out the nose. Last one, big breath in, bringing in all the benefits of our practice together. Full exhale out, allowing all the lungs to empty, all the stress to release. If you'd like, you can take a little bow forward to seal your practice. Namaste, which means the light in me sees and acknowledges the same light in you. When you are in that place in you, and I am in that place in I, we are one and the same. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. If anyone has any questions, comments, concerns, if there's something you'd like to work on in the future, let me know. Drop a comment. Thanks so much. See you soon.